Crystal clear now. Yes.
Yep. All right, fantastic. Sorry about that, guys. It looks like we're having some issues with our Discord, and it looks like I was talking to myself for quite some time. Cool. All right, guys, let's just rewind a couple of minutes, and now we will begin the AMA. So I'll start with the very first question, which was, how can I fix the claim error on Ignition reward? So what I will say to answer this, guys, it's our assumption is that you probably need some more Solana. We think that it's an issue with paying the Solana's gas fee, so you may not have enough Solana for that. But what I would advise is that if you want to send this question in, please provide a little bit more context on the probability that we may be wrong here. Just providing a little bit more information will give us the necessary context that we need to answer this a little bit better. So our assumption is right now that you probably need to pay Solana's gas fees and you may need more additional Solana for that. But in the event that that may not be true, feel free to resubmit the question with giving us a little bit more information or raising a ticket, and that will help us get to you and address this a little bit more better. Now, Gaurav, now that you can hear me, and thank you all for your patience, let's tackle the next question. So, Gaurav, we got a question here from the community that says, are the August block rewards include the token from the previously mentioned 1st of September to the 7th of September staking double rewards?
No, they're not. We're basically doing one amendment airdrop pretty soon within this week. So as a part of that, for people who were there in the first week and who had staked, they'll get the respective one more time reward, which will make it a 2x reward. So we are already working on that. Please give us this week. You'll have it. So it is under our radar. We purposely kept it aside to give a clarity that what we committed, we are giving that. So as a part of the amendment airdrop, which we are doing this week, that will be one of the amendment airdrops.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Gaurav, and the transparency with that. We've got another interesting question here regarding the rewards. It's a little bit of a sort of loaded, packed question. So, Gaurav, I'll go through it in a little bit of a slower format, but essentially it's saying that lower tier cards are generating higher block rewards compared to higher tier cards. These GPUs differ significantly in terms of both price and performance, yet they earn more or the same. For example, a 360 versus a 370 or even a 370 Ti. Why is there such an imbalance in the block rewards? So, Gaurav, I'm assuming this is something more market driven, but would love for you to unpack this in a bit more detail.
So this shouldn't be the case, ideally. So what we had in past was that we had a split of the CPU specific like block rewards and GPU specific block rewards. At that time, there were some hardwares which were cheaper but still getting higher because we had split the block rewards in two pieces, CPU and GPU. In case of GPUs, that shouldn't be the case. But if we are seeing that 360, 670, like the cheaper ones are getting significantly high, it's a good call out. This is the first time I'm hearing this, to be honest. I'll take immediate action. I'll take a look at the returns on these. Ideally, it shouldn't happen. But if this is true, we'll take a look and take corrective actions on this.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gaurav. I really appreciate you answering that. And, thank you to our community. It's really valuable when you raise things that may not be on our radar, things that need our awareness and understanding. That helps us work closer with you guys to tackle really imperative things. So always feel free to send in these suggestions because collectively we can drive everything forward. So huge shout out to our nation for that. We've got another question here regarding some ticketing. So one of you guys have mentioned, like, my ticket automatically closed with the status pending engineering review. What shall I do? Well, first of all, thank you so much for sending that in. And we're really glad that we have this forum to answer such questions. What I would say to that is that the best way for you to get the answer is to submit a ticket asking for the original ticket to be reopened, right? Or raise this with a community leader and they will flag this ticket to the support team so that it can be reopened. So this was an issue resulting from some type of automation, which has now been resolved. But guys, we're really keen to solve these tickets for you. So like I said, either reopen the ticket and ask for the original one to be addressed. Alternatively, please raise it with the community moderators and they will escalate it up the channels to ensure that we get to you with the appropriate answer. So thank you for sending that in. The next question says, I cannot find the intercom button in the user interface. It's supposed to be at the corner of the interface, question mark. I've tried to refresh and clear the caches or cookies, but I still cannot find it. So once again, guys, thank you for sending that in. Typically with something like this, I'm happy to answer it. You'll probably need to disable like the browser plugins, specifically those that are blocking the tracking cookies or like sessions. We also recommend it. We also recommend that the incognito mode is not used. Once you do this, you should be able to see the intercom button. We haven't had any other known issues that are being reported surrounding this. So I'm sure it's just a one-off, some personalized like text, sort of what's it called? Personalized tech situations that you need to resolve. But if it does persist, please feel free to get in touch with our ticketing support team or raise it, and we'll definitely look into this for you. So once again, thanks for sending that in. Moving on to the next question on the AMA. The question is there any way I can submit a request to the team to change my GPU, and are there consequences of changing GPUs? Fantastic question. I will give this one to Gaurav. Gaurav, would you mind answering that and unpacking that for the community?
Yeah, so actually, we had created an ML model at our side to actually capture a lot of signals and find fakes. So one of the signals basically was that some of the fake people were basically playing around with GPUs and like trying to upscale and change the strategy and so on and so forth, right? So model captured it in past, and we were seeing there was a pattern of this. So hence, at some point in time, we actually blocked devices when they were trying to like change the GPU. And we looked at data also of genuine cases. We took a feedback of some of the big suppliers at how often it happened, taking into consideration all these things, the feedback from the suppliers, how often people do it, taking a look at the internal data, we took a decision that we will not allow people to change it automatically. But this is the reason why we blocked it. Saying that if there's a genuine reason why somebody is changing it, which is comparatively very rare, uh, so you can happily open a ticket. We will help you to get unblocked on that. Just wanted to be sure that why we have historically blocked it, but that doesn't mean that we will never allow you to change. We just need to know the specific reason because it's very rare somebody is doing it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Gaurav. Great sort of answer to that question. We've got another one here from the IO Nation community, and this is a really interesting question, and I'm happy to take this. So the question says that once IoT mentioned something about IO Chain, will we see IO Chain in the future, and is the team working on it? Now, guys, what I would say is that we are working day and night to really bring you some incredible things, right? And that includes like maybe a few surprises that we may have lined up for you in the future. You guys all know that, we, as much as we tell you like what's in the roadmap, we love to innovate. We love to test out new things. We love to always push the boundaries about what we're capable of doing. So what I would say is that rest assured, we have incredible things which are cooking in the kitchen. When it's ready and when something is mature, we'll definitely be ready to talk about it. But there are incredibly exciting things that will be coming that we're working on. We're constantly innovating. We're constantly excited about the ideas. We are always hearing from you things that you want. And let's just say that in the future, when things are ready and mature, they will reveal themselves, and I'll be the first to tell you guys about it. And I'm super excited to do so. But for now, things are in the kitchen. They're baking, they're cooking, we're trying the best recipes. And when they're ready, we will share them with you. So thank you so much for sending in that question. Gaurav, going on to the next part of the question here, we have something which is talking about staking. And one of the guys has sent in a question to say, when will there be staking without workers? Now, we've known that we've got a few questions surrounding this. So, Gaurav, is it possible to stake without workers, and when will there be staking without workers?
So staking without workers was a part of phase two. The phase two is still in progress. We had committed that the middle of next month we'll be there. The timeline still looks good. Whatever action items we had in the plan we had, we are still executing them on time. So fingers crossed, as discussed earlier, by the middle of the next month we should be there. People who are not having active workers, if they want to help somebody else to stake and take part of the rewards, they should be able to do by the middle of next month. And we're working on a document also soon. At least in next couple of weeks, we should be able to give you some direction that what kind of ROI they should expect when they help someone else to complete the staking requirements and help them earn block rewards. And as a part of that, what return they would get for that help. So the document will come first. Hopefully, next 2 weeks it'll be there, and then by the middle of next month, we should be having the active production code also for that as a part of smart contract available for everyone.
Cool. Thank you for that, Gaurav. We've got a few more questions in staking, which I'm incredibly excited to share with you. The next one is a slightly different question on staking, but would love your thoughts and perspectives. So one of the team members in IONation has actually reached out and said, "I have my worker running and waiting for stake my tokens. Do you know when the stake will open again?"
So, guys, you may not like my answer, but in all honesty, we said when we were bringing staking, we said that as a part of the current changes, we'll make sure that the rewards of people who are part of the network would grow, and trust us, it will be good, right? And as a part of that, it was a hard decision, but we took a decision to implement capping also, so that people who are loyal with the network, who have confidence, they get good returns. Some people who are there with us, they remained as loyal. They came in, they trusted us, and they staked, right? And they're getting good returns right now. So we're getting constant feedback from people for the good returns. Thank you for that. But coming back to the questions in particular, we had put in a capping for each device type. Uh, Majority of those caping for specific devices is complete. Uh, but we are constantly now reviewing on a weekly basis the performance of the hardware. So whatever hardware you have, if there is a particular supplier or a user who is already there in the network who have staked, if the performance goes bad, uh, we will we will move them out, and then we will bring somebody who's waiting in the pipeline to bring them into the network. But we will not just increase the network size blindly. It would depend on the factors that we should make sure. First of all, the network is healthy, the returns on people are good. We'll keep those things in mind. So network size will not increase until the returns increase. Coming back again to specifically, we will not just blindly increase. That means if a particular device type is already complete, unfortunately, you have to wait until somebody else stops to perform and moves out of the network on the performance basis.
Thank you,
So,
Gaurav.
and like we don't have a timeline for it. It literally depends on the performance of others. So unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly what the date would be.
Thank you, Gaurav. Well, look, Ironation, you have to be patient with some things that we're building, but trust us when we say that we put a lot of thought into this, right? And we always want to ensure the best outcome for you guys and for the business. So, it's small things like that we'll have to iron out with time. But as Gaurav said, be patient. We're working on it. Things will come soon, which I'm incredibly excited for, and trust me, you will be too. With that being said, Gaurav, we got one more question here regarding staking, which again would love your perspective on. So one of the members of our community has said that staking is currently halted, but I've noticed that enterprises or data centers are still able to stake. Could you explain why they are prioritized over individuals?
So I don't think that's the case. Like either it's before the staking they're specifically saying, or like after, because we didn't allow anybody to come in. So what I know of is that we initially, so for okay, do you know specifically what timeline they're talking about? Is it after the staking started, or are they talking about last 1 week? Right? Do you have a specific timeline for this?
I don't, unfortunately. I've only got the questions as they come through, so we don't have much context. But just as a word of advice, guys, if you're listening into this, before you send in questions, like the more context you provide us, like examples or whatever it may be, the better we can answer it, right? So wherever you have seen something like this, always feel free to comment and share the example, and that enables us to like really unpack this for you. But Gaurav, for now, unfortunately, I don't have added context to share
Then
where this person is.
I'll just I'll just connect the dots like what might be the case, and I can come back for this, right? So what has happened is like we are opening the network for course taking for everyone. Like there was a question just a couple of minutes back for that, and we said by the middle of next month we'll enable it, right? There are a bunch of big suppliers, and they have to have like millions of tokens which they have to stake, and they were basically like not having those coins at a particular point in time. There were many who came to request us that you guys are already releasing course taking. Can we do a trial course taking for like a period of 2 weeks? How the returns and everything looks like. So we had given, I think, only two people who came with this request earlier first for course taking, and we helped them. The enterprise suppliers, only two of them, and that too with the commitment that they'll actually put the coins extremely like fast the moment airdrop happens, right? I think that was the only exception for two people we had helped course taking as a trial period. So we were planning to do course taking for everyone, and we wanted to do trial period also. So we took two or three, I think we gave an offer, to accepted, and we did a trial for them. And then I think within a week, they just came back as they committed that they'll come and they'll stake the coins on their side. I think that's the only case I can know of. Otherwise, we haven't enabled anyone else to come into the network and start staking. I'm not aware of anyone else. If they can be more specific, I think it will be helpful. Just for
Yeah.
clarity of everyone else, the course taking is shut down for everyone now. It was basically when we started the staking at a point in time, there were few big suppliers who came in and requested that can we do a trial period because you're opening for everyone else. So we only for handpicked two people like who were coming in early, like for first come first serve, who came up with this idea and tried to trial. We gave them a green, but with the commitment that within like a week or so they have to come back and stake everything else. And that was the only exception we have done, not anything else. If people are more specific with the questions and timelines, I think it'll be helpful.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that, Gaurav, in answering it with the information that you had. But just an FYI, IO always give more context, and that will help us just give you the answers that you are truly looking for in much, much more detail. So, Gaurav, we have one more question on staking before we move on to the next segment of this AMA. Well, the question says, will there be any awards for staking IO hold from other partner projects?
There is. So we are actually working with a couple of the projects. I can't release the details right now, but yes, there is. We are working with a couple of projects where there's a plan that those projects will also give block rewards to the workers who are part of the network going forward. The timeline and specifics, unfortunately, I can't share right now. But wherever they got the info, I'm not sure. But yes, it's in plans.
That's incredibly exciting to see. Comment in the chat if you're also excited to see what we have with IO. I love seeing a lot of these emojis and the things that you guys are putting here, which is fantastic. So thank you all for that. Right, with that being said, we will move on to the next section of the AMA, which is regarding community. Now, we've only got a couple of questions here, but I'll be happy to answer both of them prior to going on to the final section. So one of the questions that you guys have sent in is, will new roles be introduced? What I would say to that, guys, is that look, we are always evaluating how to improve and optimize our current programs, whether it's the astronaut program or any other program that we do. We want to ensure that we're appropriate, the right people are in the right roles, and where it's necessary, the right degree of escalation is there, right? So what I would propose is that if you guys feel that there is a need for a particular role that we may not have considered yet, always feel free to let us know. You're welcome to DM me directly in the Discord. You're welcome to raise it with our community moderators. You're welcome to raise it with our astronauts. All of the information always gets filtered up to me. We have so many meetings with a lot of the people who are managing the astronauts program and our community moderators. You see, the reason why I'm suggesting something like that is because this is a collaborative effort. It's an opportunity for me and IONET and to work together with you guys in really supporting you, in really giving you the tools and the things that you need to succeed, right? So will there be roles? Yeah, definitely, right? And the reason for that is because change is natural and it's an evolving part of our community and how we continue to grow. I'm super keen to see the community grow even more further than where it is now. I want to bring you guys even more exciting things to do above and beyond what we're already currently doing, right? Like this is very, very much the foundation. But with that being said, it's definitely a collaborative effort. So always feel free to raise new roles that you think are necessary. But even if you don't, just know that we're always tinkering and tailoring how we do things within the marketing front with the various programs that we're running in order to ensure that they run even more optimally to serve you guys better. So I hope that answers your question. But in a very short, simple way, the answer is absolutely yes. The next question that we have here from you guys is, recently I won a third prize in a mascot competition. The reward was $100. When will I receive it? It's been a while and no information on this yet. It should be distributed right after the announcement. So first of all, thank you so much for raising that question. It's a very important question. And what I do want to commit to you guys is that if you are due for a reward, you will absolutely 100% get it, right? Like that's not even a question. But in the event that it may have been missed for whatever reason, not only does that give us an opportunity to improve and understand why it was missed, but it also gives you the opportunity to say, like, obviously bring it up and raise it to our awareness, which you've very kindly done. So thank you for that. But what I would say to that is that raise it with a community moderator or one of the astronauts, and they will definitely escalate it up to me. I will ensure that you get paid. We have Hands on the call as well, who obviously is very, very close to our community. Please feel free to raise it with him. Just quote what the competition was, what the reward was. Let's get that validated and then that reward paid to you as it should be due, and we will try and resolve that as soon as possible. So always feel free to raise these things and never feel like just letting these things go, because if you have won this, rightly so, you will be paid, and we really value the impact and the contribution you make to our competitions, right? Because without you, none of these things will be possible. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate you guys sending in those two questions. And now to move on to the final segment of the AMA, which is partnerships. Now this is the final segment of what you guys have sent in. So someone very special is making their debut today. So for those of you who missed it, we have someone joining our AMA today who's already here. His name is Tarsif. How many of you guys have met Tarsif before? Would love to hear in the comments, guys. So feel free to put it in the chat. But so for those of you guys who don't know, Tarsif manages all of our partnerships and business development. Today his official debut in the Ionet AMA. So Tarsif, welcome. Would love to hear a quick hello from you, and then we can go into the question. How are you doing today?
Hey Milan, thanks for the kind intro and the kind words. Great to meet you all, guys. As Milan mentioned, my name is Tassif Ahmed. I'm VP of Business Development here at IONET, so focused on all things related to partnerships, sales, growth, things like that. So excited to be here and shed some more light on what we're working on the partnerships and BD side.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Tarsif. We hope to see you in many, many more AMAs. So guys, comment in the chat below how many of you are excited to see here Tarsif. We always want to bring you new faces. We always want to show you who's behind the scenes, who's working on the incredible things that we are doing here at IONET. Tarsif has been instrumental in countless partnerships. I remember one of you guys actually created an infographic with like 50 partnerships, right? So here is the man behind the scenes who's working his magic with a lot of these partnerships that you see us posting on Twitter and many other places. So Tarsif, with that being said, we have a question for you. Now the question says, with Token 2049 event and the recent award, does IONET have any upcoming expansions or strategic partnership plans? Now, would love to hear your perspective on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to shed some more light on that. So yeah, as Milan mentioned, we've been working pretty hard behind the scenes to continue to grow our partnership ecosystem over the past few months, and we're really not taking our foot off the pedal there at all, right? So we're continuing to work with a variety of players and expand our partnerships across Web2 and Web3. I think you guys have heard of a lot of the Web3 partnerships that we've done. So in Web3 specifically, we're actively working with a number of partners that are deeply involved in decentralizing and increasing the privacy and security of the AI tech stack. So I think you'll see a partner announcement come out specifically in this space from our side in the next couple of days. So keep an eye out on our socials to see what the new partnership is about. I think it's a name that you guys will be familiar with, and we'll get you guys pretty excited. I think the other side that we're starting to really increase our focus on is on the Web2 front, right? Where we're seeing a lot of exciting developments on the AIML in the AIML industry with a number of like high growth tech startups and open source labs working on things. So on the Web2 side, we're really accelerating our efforts for on the demand and revenue side. And I think you guys have seen some of these efforts come to fruition if you guys have kept an eye on the growing Explorer metrics on our Explorer page over the past few weeks and how those numbers have gone up and to the right. So more to come on that, and to kind of add a little bit more sort of detail around that on how we plan to accelerate the demand side across partnerships and sales is with a focus on kind of really expanding our relationships and our sales funnel with high growth AIML startups, specifically being sort of like the seed to Series A, B, and C funding stage. You know, like startups who have kind of working on either creating their own foundational models, fine tuning open source models, or who have consistent ongoing inference workloads. If as their products are sort of like launched and start to gain accelerated like user growth. Additionally, we're also working with a lot of major universities and research labs within the US and Europe who are really kind of pushing the envelope forward in terms of cutting edge AIML research and are looking for access to large amounts of compute to be able to continue to do that. So yeah, as you can see, we're kind of working across both fronts on Web2 and Web3 to continue to push forward and grow the IO ecosystem. So you'll start to see more of the news around this come out over the next few weeks and months.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tarsif, and welcome to your first AMA, which I hope will be the first of many. So it's great to get you introduced to Iron Nation. And Iron Nation, I am super excited to see, who else we can introduce you with time, right? So I'm sure you'll see, we always want to be transparent and have our executive team like very close to you guys, because all of us are listening to all of the feedback, all of the comments, everything that you guys are saying. So, with time, more members of the IONET executive team will definitely be in the AMAs. With that being said, guys, over the next few minutes, would love to take more sort of candid questions from you guys in the chat. So Gaurav, Tarsif, let's give it 1 minute to the guys. Chat, if you can throw in some questions into the community chat just now, and then Gaurav or Tarsif or I will pick one of these questions to answer. But this is just giving you guys a more spontaneous opportunity to answer anything that we may have missed. And of course, you'll always have the opportunity to submit more questions for next time. So let's give it 30 seconds, guys. Throw some questions in, and then either me, Gaurav, or Tarsif will pick a couple to answer. Thank you, ZX. Thank you, BB8 Guardian. Keep them coming in. Don Zizi, thank you. We've got your question there as well. Fargus has sent in the question. Otis has sent one in as well. Viku, thanks for that. Arc1, when merch. I'll actually start with that one. What I would say is that merch is something that you've got to get really right within the Web3 world, right? And you often see a lot of Web3 organizations just do logo slapping, and they'll just put like a small logo of, the organization on the top sort of left-hand corner in like the breast pocket of, a t-shirt. That's not IONET, right? Like we're disruptors. We want to create something incredibly cool for you guys. Something that you guys will love wearing and showing around the community. Like I would love to see the day where we walk into a Token 2049 in Dubai or Singapore or wherever it may be, or another event, and we see like the incredible merchandise that you guys that we've created that you guys are wearing. So what I would say to that is that although we don't have like a definitive date on when the merch is, it's definitely something that is on our radar, and it's something that between myself and our chief design officer Maher, we are actively working on. We're going to test a lot of like new designs, and rest assured, like when we start finalizing like our top picks, you guys will be there to vote, right? Ultimately, Iron Nation will be like wearing this stuff. Well, we want you to have a voice and an opinion in what these things look like. So you guys will be a part of this process. Like none of it will be possible without you. So thank you so much for sending that question in, Ark1. Gaurav, Tasif, did you see anything else here that you wanted to answer?
Yeah, there's one question from ZX, which is the rumors about you guys are going to clear out some low quality workers later this month. Is that true? And what's the standard for the low quality, right? So, so it's not a rumor; it's a fact. Uh, we'll actually take calls a couple of times a week now going forward, whether a particular hardware should be part of the network or not, and the quality will be same. Like, is it passing proof of work? Is it clusterable? When we actually add them into the cluster, do they remain stable? Are there network issues with the hardware? What's the speed? How much storage is there, so on and so forth, right? There are multiple factors to it, which actually plays a very important part of the block reward also, which you get. So all these parameters, right from the stability to proof of work consistently passing, when we add it to your cluster, how stable you are, all these factors will define whether you're performing well in the network or not. And if you're not performing well, we will move you out. And whichever hardware is in the queue to come in, they'll be given a preference to come in. That's how the network will work going forward. We are working on an automated solution for this, which can pick up this inventory on a regular basis, rate it per device type, so that we can take actions. This particular module we are in process of building. Hopefully, I think the timeline is by day after tomorrow, which is like Friday. If this module should be ready. So on Friday, for the first time, we'll review the whole network for these metrics, and then we'll start to take decision on which particular hardware to move out. So I'll say it's not a rumor, it's a fact. So we will start moving hardwares out who are not performing, and that will be one opportunity for people who are sitting outside waiting to become part of the network.
Thank you, Gaurav. Really appreciate you taking that question. I'll take one more from the community that I've seen just being dropped by Ninja. So Ninja says, Milan, how was Singapore? I want to go there. Ninja, look, first of all, it would be a pleasure to meet you at any event. I was so proud and so excited to meet so many members of IO Nation at Token 2049 in Singapore. It's so refreshing, right? Like right now, we all have a digital relationship with each other. But when you're at these events and you're running into members of IO Nation in person and you're seeing them, it really brings everything that we do to life, right? And I think that's part of the beauty behind a lot of our efforts. So Singapore was incredible. How many of you guys saw the award that we won? We are one of the top 20 leading projects in DeepIn and AI right now, and we received a fantastic award from O'Daly. Comment in the chat if you saw that award, but we hope it's one of many, right? Singapore was fantastic because everyone knew about what we were doing. The sentiment on the ground was incredible. Even some of these really big players, right? Some of the C-level from some of the top, organizations within the Web3 space were like, oh, hey, by the way, guys, like we've been keeping an eye on you guys. Like you're doing incredible. Like keep it up. And so, from that perspective, for me, it's always interesting because we get a pulse check on how things are in the market, from the community, from so many things like that. And it was so overwhelmingly positive that for us, we loved it. There was not only myself, there was the advisors to INET were there, we had the marketing team there, Hans was there, Zach was there from our marketing team, Asa was there giving talks, and all of us were at separate events, right? And that gave us an opportunity to meet as many people as possible from the industry, develop incredible contacts and connections, and see how we can work together with other partners and develop our relationships further. So overall, guys, it was a brilliant event, and we definitely look forward to meeting you guys at more events going forward. With that being said, let's take maybe one more question from the community. Gaurav, is there anything else, maybe Tarsif, that you've seen here that you want to take on as a final question for this AMA?
I see one here from XRP0124 about asking if we be issuing quarterly reports, balance sheet, etc., explaining developments on last quarter and forecast. I think that's a really interesting one to cover. And XRP, if you haven't seen it already, we released a state of the network report from our CEO, Tori Green, a few weeks ago that's available on our website that kind of really calls out the overall vision for IO, like what we're planning on doing over the next few months, the next few quarters, and sort of the longer term vision for the company itself. So I think what I want to call out with that is I think will be that's sort of like the beginning of sort of like kind of like a lot more rigor and transparency and forecasting in terms of ensuring that the community has full visibility into sort of like what we have planned for IO and where we're going and what our forecast is, right? So as an exec team, we're kind of meeting together to actually come up with sort of our 2025 like targets and vision over the next few weeks. And I think as part of that, we'll kind of continue to provide updates and sort of reporting out there to the community to be able to kind of share exactly what we see from, like a product side, from a partnership side, from a revenue side, from a go-to-market side. So I think you guys will see a lot more. You guys will get a lot more insight into sort of building in that cadence going forward.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Tarsif. And I look forward to being part of that comms when it goes out. With that being said, IONET, it's been a pleasure. We've missed you guys over the last couple of weeks, but we're glad to be back. So first of all, thank you all for joining. It's been an incredible AMA, and thank you all for sending in your questions. If we didn't get to your question today, don't worry, you'll have the opportunity to either submit it and, like I mentioned, raise it through our ticketing or our CMs if it's like super important and urgent and you need it instantly. But if not, rest assured, all of your questions will be gathered by our community, and they will definitely get answered in the next AMA. So feel free to send those through. With that being said, Gaurav, Hans, Tarsif, thank you all so much for your time. Tarsif, I hope you enjoyed your first AMA with IONET. You guys are incredible, and we always love the support from you guys, and it's great to be here. So thank you all for your time, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.